AIs like ChatGPT are like toddlers with dictionaries. They have access to all of this information and they're pretty good at putting together words to make it seem like they understand what's going on, and it kind of makes sense. But like a toddler, it doesn't know anything about the world and it actually just puts together these words randomly, so you never know what you're going to get out. I am going to tell you how I lost control over my creativity to AI and how I got it back. AI is great. I use it a lot when writing, ideating, and it's a great tool that can support creativity and productivity. As I got more familiar with the tool, I kind of started moving to having it do more, create more of the content that I was writing. Parts at first, and then maybe going from outline to whole chunks of text. It came to a point a few months ago when I felt like ChatGPT had taken control over what I was writing, and I wasn't feeling good about it. I had gradually given control over my writing to AI. And even though I was rewriting everything meticulously to make sure that it was my words, I had lost control over the essence, the meaning of what I was writing. This can happen quite easily. Say I ask the AI to help me outline a text. I give it some bullet points and I ask it to develop that for me. At that point, I feel relatively in control. It's not done much and it's just helped me fill out that outline and structure it a little bit better. Then I ask the AI to explain a little bit about the text that it had written that I wasn't sure about. Maybe it could explain just in a little bit more detail what it was. And then in the next step, I just asked it to tweak something that I had written about that same topic a little bit, just to make sure that it sounds good. And at that point, I had lost control to the AI. It really did happen gradually. A slow drift towards losing control. But now there was a piece of text in my writing that hadn't been there unless the AI had specifically written it. And I noticed that this started to happen more and more frequently. I was becoming more and more okay with the AI supporting me and putting some effort into creating the text. But the text felt less and less like they were my actual thoughts. On top of that loss of control, when I was trying to write on my own, I was getting worse at that. I was getting worse at forming my thoughts and putting them onto the keyboard. And even as I was outputting more and more text, I was losing practice with actually doing writing. I have the privilege of being able to speak to some really cool people when it comes to the space of creativity and AI through my podcast, Designing the Robot Revolution. One of the people that I sat down with to speak to, Chris Noessel, who's an author and a design principal at IBM, he had some really interesting thoughts around this phenomenon of losing skill and being out of practice because you put more and more value-adding work onto the AI. He told us about this Australian cartoon, Bluey.
Bluey is a story of a family of dogs living in Australia, I think it's Sydney, and they're just dealing with life as they go. But in one particular episode, Jack's dad is taking his daughter to go pick up Jack from school. And he gets in the car, he puts his Google Maps on, and he starts following his way to school, and his phone dies. It runs out of battery. Doesn't have a charger in the car. And so he pulls over and he's, oh crap. And his daughter says, what's the problem? And he says, I don't know how to get there because I just turn on Google Maps and I zone out. And so the entire B plot of this episode is Jack's dad having to not only find his way to school, but refigure out how to find how to get to Jack's school. And it winds up taking him across the outback and they have wonderful adventures, and Jack gets picked up roughly on time. But this was an example written in a children's cartoon about de-skilling, right? Jack's dad had pushed off wayfinding to this app. De-skilling is the loss of practice. What do you do to combat that? You provide practice.
Okay, so I had two problems. I was losing control over my writing, I didn't feel like it was my own, and I was also getting worse at actually doing writing when I tried. There is a simple solution to both of these problems, and it's really simple. I decided that I needed to dedicate some time every day to write more and not use AI at all. I dedicated 30 minutes a day to just producing text. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be an outline for a script or something else. And I find that it really helps. I'm getting better again. Outside of those 30 minutes, I'm trying to be a little bit careful, but I am using a lot of AI to make sure that I can speed up my writing, that I can get all the things out that I need to do. And I'm still using the tools, but I do it with care. Very careful about losing control of what's in it. I need to do the research. I need to understand what I'm talking about because the AI can't. I can ask the AI to create a list based on some bullet points that I have, but I don't want to use it to create content. I think it's great to have an assistant. It can write some emails for me when it's non-critical. It can search the web and find some sources for me to look through when I'm looking at a topic that I want to explore. And I think this is one thing that we should realize with AI. There are some tasks that are going to be assisted or taken over completely by AI, and sometimes that can be a good thing. There are things that we don't want to do, but we have to be so careful that we don't give away our creativity and our expressive freedom to a machine. It is up to us to decide what skills do we want to let go of, and when we don't want to give over control to the AI, we should actively pursue becoming experts. We need to excel in the skills that we have that add value. And when we have become experts, it's very easy to use AI as an assistant, and that's going to just make everything much better. Because you actually need to be an expert in something if you are to use a machine that is like a toddler with access to a dictionary. Thank you. Have a good day. Click here for more, or you can check out the podcast in the description. Have a great day.